What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader, also known as John, coming back to you with a video. And I'm going to talk about this Polish bootleg IG-88 in a second and compare it to the No Country of Origin that I got. But Trevor, a buddy of mine who is a longtime heavyweight in the bootleg group on Facebook, recommended that I do this video to give props where props are due. And when I call him a heavyweight, I mean that he's got an amazing collection. I'm not commenting on his weight. If we're talking about weight, like physical weight, then I am a heavyweight in the bootleg community because this coronavirus thing is killing me. I can't go to the gym. I can't work out like I usually do. I try to work out like 6 days a week because I used to be really big. But now I can't. So it's driving me crazy. So I'm slowly becoming a heavyweight. But I'm sorry, guys. I'm an idiot. Trevor mentioned this to me, and I did get this by email as well. But he recommended that I go ahead and give props where props are due. Action Figure Authority, AFA, Collectible Grading Authority, whatever you want to call them. They came out with this announcement yesterday or day before. And I wanted to kind of share it with you because it's just awesome what they decided to do. So I'm going to go ahead and read the press release. Collectible Grading Authority's offices currently remain open as we are working with the utmost safety and urgency, blah, blah, blah. However, we have been blessed with an opportunity to partner with the medical community in helping minimize exposure for doctors who have direct contact with COVID-19 patients. Based on designs for a device used initially in Taiwan, we have been manufacturing intubation shields for anesthesiologists at no cost to hospitals, and their initial input based on the pieces we have supplied to Gwinnett Medical Center is that it will provide an exponential improvement in the level of safety for medical staff. The shields have been fast-tracked through the necessary administrative channels for approval, and we are already working to fulfill orders from local hospitals as well as in New York and overseas. So in other words, they've created these shields, and I'm gonna show you some photo. I assume that AFA won't mind me sharing these photos. They are there just for copyright information. The photos belong to AFA, Action Figure Authority, but I wanted to show them the shields. That they have an example of the shield being used by doctors, and basically it's like a big box that goes around the patient who's suspected to have coronavirus, and it's got 2 holes in there to allow the doctor or the anesthesiologist to administer medicines and to intubation tubes, all that stuff that goes into treating these guys. But anyway, they've made this kind of acrylic shield that goes around their faces, the patient's faces, and protects the doctors from getting sick. That's been a big problem in New York, especially is the nurses and the doctors are starting to get sick now with this coronavirus, and so it's taking away much needed medical personnel on the front lines of this. And I hope that when all of this is said and done, and the history books are written, that the frontline doctors and nurses and emergency staff, ambulance, all those folks will be recognized for the heroes that they are. I mean, I talked to some of them up in New York, and I'm friends with a couple of them, and they are working basically nonstop. I mean, it's just unbelievable. They've got to be exhausted, and I think we're still several weeks away from the peak. But anyway, I just noticed that I've got IG-88 backwards. How awesome. But anyway, I wanted to share that the AFA at their own cost is shipping these. They're taking away from grading figures, which they should be, and they're using their resources to make these shields. So I'll include some photos here in a second of these shields, but it's pretty awesome. I'm really happy to see that they're doing their part. So I'll show you guys some examples of the shields they're sending to New York and other places that are hard hit by this virus in a second. But anyway, just so we're including a little bit of action figure stuff, here is my IG-88 Polish bootleg next to the one loose graded IG-88 that I have. This is, well, I've got 2 actually. I've got a carded example that is the gray version, but this is the only loose example I have. This is the silver No Country of Origin kind of version of IG-88. I assume this came on like Palatoy cards. This is not the PBP version of IG-88. It's got the 1980 LFL, and it's got the Hong Kong kind of wiped out there. Typically, there's the Hong Kong's date stamp is up there, but this is not the PBP. It's very subtle difference. But this is the silver, I guess, No Country of Origin tri-logo version with the red dots. It's got the deep hollow eyes, which I'm trying to get it to focus. Come on, camera, focus for me. But it's got the deep hollow eyes right there, as you can see. And then this is the Polish bootleg IG-88. This one looks like it was based on the same figure, except if you look on the back here, it's got all the information with the Hong Kong and the LFL, and you can see down here on this one that this one does not have the Hong Kong. I was pointing to the wrong area, but the Hong Kong stamp would be typically right there, so that's been marked out. But this one is based on the Hong Kong, it looks like. But it looks like it's based on the hollow eyes, but maybe I'm wrong. It's hard to get this thing to focus, but I guess this was based on the non-hollow-eyed version of IG-88, because it looks like it doesn't have any indentions on the eyes. But this is a Polish bootleg. It's non-articulated. You know, basically they just straight copied the mold back during the Cold War era. And, you know, this is what was sold in Poland during the Cold War, just a Polish bootleg. I have never really, I'm sure there's other colors out there. There's not, I didn't pull the book out, but there might be slight differences or, you know, slightly different silver colors used. But this is the only one that I have. But it came back with an 85 first generation or unarticulated, but it's really cool. And they're not particularly expensive, I would say. You should be able to pick one of these up ungraded for less than $100. But it's just hard to find them in such good condition. And this is a really, really pristine one for a bootleg. It's just really difficult to find one with such uniform paint. But it's really cool to have one finally back. And I just got this back in my last batch, as you guys saw. But I just wanted to show you. The unarticulated series of Polish bootlegs, to my knowledge, did not come with any weapons. So sometimes you will see these for sale with kind of a bootleg style weapon like this, but that's just the seller you know, I actually got, when I bought this, it came with a Polish bootleg weapon. It can't actually hold. Give me 1 second. Let me pull it down real quick. It came with this one. This is the weapon that it came with. I put this with my AT-AT driver, second gen AT-AT driver. This is like a G.I. Joe style Polish weapon. But but what I'm saying is that sellers oftentimes will include weapons like that kind of matched or mirrored the Kenner figure weapons. But all the unarticulated figures do not come with weapons. I mean, you can certainly pose them with them, but in terms of grading, I would not send them in with weapons. Anyway, I wanted to include an action figure as part of this video, but this was really more of a thank you video to Action Figure Authority for doing their part in the coronavirus fight. So I'll include the Collector Archive Services picture of this figure along with the grade and label so you can see that. But more importantly, at the very end of the video, I want to include some photos of this acrylic case. This is kind of what the case looks like. I'll include better photos, color photos of this case that AFA has so generously donated to all the hospitals out there fighting this virus. So anyway, I hope everyone's doing well. Stay safe, and I will be back probably sooner than you would prefer. Talk to you soon.